In this unique and hands-on group by tutorial, I'll teach you many things about group by, but specifically what we're going to do is that we're going to connect the dots between group by and visualizations in Seaborn. And you're going to see how it's basically the same thing, bar plots and group by. Alright, so let's get started. Let me just zoom in a little bit. I think that's just enough. Okay, so we'll start off by importing the libraries that we'll need. We're going to need Pandas, of course, as per usual. We're going to need NumPy. We're going to need matplotlib and Seaborn. Matplotlib.pyplot as PLT and importing Seaborn. Good. Alright, the dataset that we'll be using today is a sales dataset. You can find the link in the description. So, what do we have here? We have sales data. We have the invoice number, stock code, type of product with a description, quantity purchased, invoice date, unit, price unit, and customer ID and where this order was placed from. So we can see that one row is not necessarily one order. So we have invoice number here. These are all the same, the first 5 rows. So one row is one product, and that product can have different quantities. So here we can see these 5 rows are the same order and 5 different products and different quantities for each product and different prices. Alright, you can also look at the info method, see if we have any null values. Well, almost no null values. Actually some null values here in the customer ID column, but that should be fine. So now that we have inspected the data, I am going to show you a bunch of cool stuff. First up is that I want to show you how group by value counts and countplot are closely related. Alright, so group by, value counts, and countplot, they're closely related. So group by, as we all know, is at core of data analysis, and it allows us to summarize data across different categories. So I bet you're pretty familiar with value counts. So if I would select categorical column, so here you could say that country is a categorical column, so I'll select that for my value counts operation. Value counts is conveniently named because what it does is that it counts the values, right? So it counts the different categories. We get the frequency of all the categories in a certain column. So I'm selecting the country column, and it counts how many orders or how many rows are with have the category Germany here, how many have France, and so on. All right, and this is the most simple form of a group by operation. So I can do the same thing. I can get this result with a group by operation. So I would say df.groupby, and then I would say country, because that's what I'm grouping by. I'll select one column. Let's do country. And then I am applying an aggregation function. In this case, I'm applying the count because I want to count the values. All right, so I run that. You can see it's almost the same. Only difference right now is that this is not sorted on the values, but we can change that. So we can say sort values, and then we'll have to say ascending equals false. If I run that now, we have the same output here. Alright, now I'd like to show you how this output is the same as a count plot. A count plot is a bar plot that we make using the Seaborn library. So I'm going to say x is equal to sns.countplot, and then I'll say data is going to be equal to the data frame. If to pass the data frame here, then x is the country. So I can say plt.show, run that. You can see I get a very ugly x-axis. I can change that by saying x.set xtick labels labels are equal to ax.get xtick labels, and then I'm saying rotation is equal to 45 degrees, and I want it to be in the center. Yeah, that looks the best. Okay, so now it looks more interpretable. Alright, so if I zoom out, we can see that, just to summarize, value counts a group by using the count method as aggregation method and the count plots. These three things are the same. This gives us series, but this is a visualization, but it visualizes what we have here. So that's pretty cool to be able to see that connection. Next topic I would like to go into is the group by using any aggregation. So I have my data frame here. We're going to continue and group by the country column. So I'll say country, and then I'll group it by, let's say, quantity this time. So quantity, and then I'll say sum, and I'm also going to sort it like this. So now we can see that, okay, well, Netherlands has purchased the highest number of products, and now I'm using sum here. We have so many different aggregation functions that you can use. You can pick any one you want. You can do count, which will count the number of you can use count, which will count the number of null values for each group. You can do sum, as we did here, which will compute the sum of each group. You can get the mean, the average of each group. You can get the median of each group. You can get the min, the max, the standard deviation, the variance of each group. And you can use the describe method in the group by as well. That works perfectly fine. And you can also use apply and apply a custom function to each group. I'll show you how to do that later. So we could, for example, we copy paste this, we could maybe change around and look at the unit price, and then we can say, okay, I would like to have a look at the mean here. Okay, so the average unit price here is 8. So Portugal seems to be buying the most expensive products on average. Let's see how much this deviates from the median, like this. Okay, so the median and the mean is very different. That means that the distributions are skewed. So we have quite a big delta between the mean and the median. Alright, so that's just one extra layer how we can use any type of aggregation function for our group by operations. Alright, now I'm going to show you how the sns.barplot and the group by are two sides of the same coin. Okay, so what we just did here can be done with the bar plot as well. So if you want the visual equivalent to what we did here, we can get that. Alright, how do we do it? Well, we'll say sns.barplot, and then I'll pass data is equal to our data frame. But here I have to pass both an x, so the x is going to be on the x-axis, that's going to be countries here. Boom, we will have the countries on the x-axis. Then we can specify a new column which will be on the y-axis, and let's do quantity. So quantity is here, and then, well, what I would like to do is that I will say error bar is equal to none, and because I don't like to have the error bar in there. And then estimator, this is going to be the function, the aggregation function that will be applying to the groups. So what I could do here is to pass a string. Standard is that we have the average, so I can get the average. Have a look at that. Alright, we have this ugly stuff here going on again. That means I can scroll up here, take this stuff here, and put it here. So here we can see we have the average, but I could put anything here. I could put the sum if we're more interested in having a look at the sum. You can see these axis changes here. We could have a look at the median and so on. So here x in the bar plot is what we group by, right? And then the y is the column that we're selecting after the group by operation. And then the estimator is the aggregation function that we're applying to individual groups. Alright, that was it for this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, subscribe to this channel because I'm going to upload some more content for you all.